Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and I'm not like an astrologer, right? I keep tabs on like major events and anything I know coming up that is a big deal. For my transits. So I didn't know that it was basically going to be in the first house, aka rising in the east as such. So, I saw when I looked out my window, today, they're like that, right? I missed it when they were like that. So I was just like, oh shit, it was in the east. Nobody could articulate to me that it was going to be in the east. But because, like, I don't know, like, that was like a really in the weeds conjunction. I didn't hear people talking about the Jupiter Venus conjunction like a hell of a lot. I'm sure it's like mentioned, but like not in a distinct way. And then only just like the day before did I hear, oh, people gotta go check out the conjunction. And a conjunction is just a reminder of that by and large these planets all follow the same path, right? Even Venus, who's got to be the weird one who spins in the other direction, right? He's going in the same direction around the sun, but Venus has an anti-clockwise polar rotation. This is part of why they wanted to conjoin Shaitan and Lucifer, because they had given Venus the Luciferian qualities, and when they had the technology to measure that that Venus rotated, they say it's the only planet we've ever found that rotates opposite the way everyone else does. So, some theorized that the new civilization that arose, that like part of the last Ragnarok was Jupiter birthing, if you will, birthing Venus. This is I believe it's a Velikovskian theory originally, and and one thing you have to understand is because every time anybody mentions anybody's anything, they feel very proud to tell you what parts of that person's ideas they reject. Congratulations. That's just all right. Now shut up. I have a point. Right? A lot of people just don't got a goddamn point to what they do. Excuse me. So, Venus is then also associated with Aphrodite, and because Venus is so close to the sun that it's close to Hermes, thus a Mercury and Venus conjunction would be a hermaphrodite. See what they did there, right? So anytime Venus and Mercury get conjunct, I think it's safe to say that something of a gender fluid nature is in consciousness, right? Which means it's an excellent opportunity for um, the intellect and kind of the inner body mind, right? Which is kind of like two parts of the three-part soul are in operation in that kind of way, because Mercury is a ruler of the intellect, so he's involved with the high mind. Is not the high mind involved with the high mind. Venus is all sorts of, I mean, it's not the moon, it's not emotions, right? But we're just very emotional about gender, right? And so I think with the birth of Venus, with Venus coming into our solar consciousness, so did a shift in attitudes about hermaphrodites, like as in naturally born persons of mixed genitalia. Hey, how's it going? Who is that? My screen's on the dark side. On something. Said hi, hey buddy, hey bro, hey, I see ya. What's good? Don't be like spamming me with highs and hellos and empty epithets. I'll get suspicious and I'll put you in a timeout. But welcome to the show. All right. So, where was I at? Yes. So I was just talking a little bit of a kind of logical astrology kind of thing as it applies to certain things, right? So anyway, so I think that there's a specific significance astrologically to the planets that are on the solar plane, right? There's obviously an actual solar plane in the microcosm of our solar system. And I believe it is Uranus and Pluto that are on a different course. I believe Uranus is the one that's like this and also rotates like this. Which is interesting, right? And it gets also to me in my contemplations of our solar system as a machine, right? And let's just say we're all enjoying the ride on the cosmic clock of our galactic consciousness, right? Because our sun has an orbit. It orbits the central sun. And the central sun is really kind of what we're talking about, like in the Bach Saga. Sometimes the sun is Udin, but the sun is Udin, but it's the central sun more predominantly in actuality, right? Because there's a macro to microcosm, and then there are other details. The buck does not stop at the Bach Saga, and people got that impression that that's where I was at, right? Where it's not. It's a foundation that needs a few ideas reworked, particularly in the question of the Hyperboreans themselves, because if you just kind of roll, if you roll with the Box Saga because it's so exciting, like, it's exciting because it's new, but it's not exciting because because we have all this, because we have a certain reverence to want to have all of that, right? And then that just becomes something necessary you say because you're looking at a crazy prior time for at least a certain bloodline of fucking people that had some extraordinarily what we would consider satanic ritual abuse, the way that we see certain implications just on a level that wasn't intending to harm anybody. Just the psychological trauma that's there, right? That's the only linchpin, if you will. Hey, what's going on, man? So then it becomes this important question of what the meaning of anything that in our system that doesn't fit pattern. Are we meant to balance that? Are we, or is it good to operate with those forces as is? And what I mean by meant to balance that is, does it go into your consciousness when you are doing the inner work, right? Do I imagine, oh, Uranus, now you're on my plane, right? Do I do those things? Oh, Venus, now you orbit clockwise, right? Or am I cutting off a very important power that those angles of those planets are giving me? Are they good features? Or do I just want to right-hand path this and put everything into order, right? This is why I say I'm ambidextrous. What if I want to take more things off path? Like maybe I want the moon to come to sometimes circumpolar navigator. That's the one where it goes around the cross section instead, which maybe that's what happens with a pole shift. Maybe our great example of a pole shift will be seeing a moon that rises in the north, right? Imagine if the moon rises in the north. How fucking freaky on the mind would that be, right? And I suppose it would have to happen semi-dramatically, like over the course of like 2 weeks or something, right? And mainstream media will, they don't ignore this stuff. Like you watch like the baseline shit, like Nielsen family shit, like on whatever they call it, syndication, like like your channel 13s and all that shit, like the pre-cable news. Holy shit, what a boomer fucking MK Ultra resonant chamber that fucking bullshit is. Goddamn. At least it was. I don't know really how it is now. I don't watch any of that. I don't watch any of it. But yeah, they love to talk about lunar and solar events. They don't say anything beyond that. But there is we've always allowed in our culture this very secular, which is not atheist, secular devotion to lunar and solar events. Those are all A-OK notions, right? Liking to talk about planetary alignments, things like that. It's going to take a hell of a lot of light pollution to cover Jupiter, right? Jupiter is ultra fucking shiny. It's shinier than the shiniest of the stars. Jupiter's quite the beast of stars. Or of yeah, no, it is. It's a beast of stars. I'm going box saga with that. It's just a wandering star. So anyway. So anyway, I think that that's also. I think we had a hard effing time. I think our astrologers had a hard effing time taking the study of Venus when it emerged, because it emerged during a Ragnarok, and you try keeping records when your entire society's falling apart. And then we may have had our first wokeism happen because of that, as there was a tension of irreconcilable relationship to one's yin, right? Perhaps, I think it was Aphrodite, came out of Zeus's head, or whatever the heck, that origin story of whatever came out, the woman birthed out of Zeus, was, was this kind of genesis of the universe saying it's time to have an upgrade in our concepts of gender. You understand, right? Consciousness needed to go into an important exploration of gender because it needed to learn new things about the generative principle for mankind's next step in the entirety of the divine plan. The whole reason incarnation has occurred. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it here. I think I gave you the thing to think about. And I will catch you guys in a bit.